The replacement of the mechanical shaft seal and bearings. Remove the belt guard. Loosen the motor bolts. Remove the top eye bolt. Lower the motor to release the belt strain. Remove the timing belt from the belt pulley. Make sure the timing belt is free of the belt pulley. Remove the propeller hubcap. Pull the propeller off the shaft. Remove the mechanical seal. Push the guide pins through the flange and unscrew the secondary pump casing. Remove the propeller hubcap at the opposite end. Pull the second propeller off the shaft. Remove the mechanical seal. Use two M10 extraction bolts to pull the secondary pump casing. Remove it by sliding in the axial direction until it's free of the shaft end. The radial ball bearing and bearing cover will be pulled off the shaft in the same operation. Remove the belt and the belt pulley. Remove the bearing cover. Use a plastic or a rubber hammer to release the shaft. Do not use a steel hammer at the other end for moving the shaft. The shaft and the axial bearings can now be removed from the secondary pump casing. Free the lock washer from the bearing nut and loosen the nut. Pull off the axial bearings. Prepare new axial bearings by heating the inner rings and install them in back-to-back configuration. Install a new lock washer and the bearing nut. Secure it properly with a tap of the lock washer. Remove the shaft seal ring. Remove the bearing cover. Remove the bearing. Remove the shaft seal ring. Clean all of the parts carefully. Use grease for shaft seal rings and the bearing installation. Reinstall all the shaft seal rings. Re-grease the bearing before reinstallation with the recommended grease. Reinstall the bearing. Mark the grease slot on both items, secondary pump casing and bearing cover. Reinstall the bearing cover. The shaft and axial bearings can now be carefully reinstalled in the primary pump casing. Be aware of the grease slot for the bearing cover for the axial bearings and mark them in the same way as previously. Reinstall the bearing cover. Reinstall the belt pulley so that the conical bushing is pushed against the shaft shoulder and make sure it's in the right position. Tighten the bolts with a torque according to the manual. Belt pre-tensioning, table 533. Check the alignment between the belt pulley. Reinstall the timing belt. Reinstall the secondary pump casing with a new gasket for the pump casing. Make sure to keep the pump casings aligned while tightening so that the bearing can slide back onto the shaft. Be aware of tightening the casing straight, as it is also reinstallation of the bearing. Pre-tighten the timing belt. Lift the motor to loosely tighten the timing belt. Reinstall the mechanical seal. Do not use grease. only soap and clean both sealing surfaces with pure alcohol. Reinstall the propeller Reinstall the propeller hubcap and secure the bolts with Loctite or similar. Do the same reinstallation of the mechanical shaft seal and propeller in the primary end. Tighten the motor bolts softly so that it can still slide up and down. Make sure the motor shaft is turning smoothly by rotating it 3 to 5 times. Adjust the belt according to the manual. Section 5.3.2 Belt Pretensioning. Tighten the motor bolts and afterwards check that the shaft is still turning freely and reinstall the eye bolt. Reinstall the belt guard. After the overhaul, then please inspect the pump during the first startup for leakages or abnormal noises.